Hello there, internets! I'm HamsterBomb, and you guys are joining me for another figure review video, and look at this solid snake. The Figma from Good Smile got reprinted with a new look. To be honest, the only reason I didn't get him before was because it didn't really look like Solid Snake, to be completely honest with you, and I really like the new design that they have for this. It looks a lot more like the man himself. The design that they went with before was okay, but to me, I think this one looks a little bit more the way that I expect Solid Snake to look like in Metal Gear Solid 1, which is kind of funny because they are still saying this is from Metal Gear Solid 2. That's just what they said in the original version of this Figma. So yeah, it's mostly the faceplates that got changed, and we got a couple new weapons to take a look at. As always, let's start by looking at the box itself. We can actually see a lot of this really nice art that is showcasing the new face design for Solid Snake. And he's got this neat little, well, not butt crack. Don't look there. He's got this neat little accessory we're going to see later where he can hang on the edge of your shelf and like kind of shimmy across. So that's kind of neat. They had lots of different backgrounds that they used for taking photos for this. You can probably see better quality art of these online. If you're curious that yours is real, this should be a sticker, this warning label right here. There's one more pretty neat looking shot. Kind of looks like his amiibo, honestly, here on the side. There are no more stickers on the front. And again, another shot of him with his different faceplate of just gritting teeth. This one, if I am going to complain about this a little bit, I think his teeth are a little too white for this drunk dude who was living in Alaska trying to get away from everybody. He really took nice care of his teeth for that, and it seems to be the same art on the bottom. All right, and this specifically is called the Solid Snake Metal Gear Solid 2 version updated edition, and it is a different number version than the original Solid Snake Figma. And before we get on to, Snake himself, I like to go through the accessories and everything else that came in the box, and I want to point out something interesting that was in this one in particular. This is something that you could easily miss if you didn't realize was in there. The cardboard box, which I haven't quite folded and taped up just yet. I have done that on my Nendoroid of Big Boss, but this is going to come like this as cardboard, sleeved, exactly shaped like this. As you can see, it's the same width as the box, and it is hidden back here underneath the background of this. So you might open this box up and take all the accessories out and not even realize that Solid Snake is going to have a cardboard box. And this does seem like it's going to end up being really small. You can see me starting to fold this right here just to get an idea of the size of the box when it's together. And somehow that's going to conceal this guy. Yeah, not entirely sure. He's probably barely going to fit in there. But was the box actually shown? Yes, it was. The box is on here. Don't forget that that is in your box. I will put that together later, but another couple interesting things that came in this. For one, we have the instructions, and we will go through that in a moment. But also, this is the first time I ever saw anything come from Max Factory / Good Smile in an additional baggie. This was not in the box. Now, I have had promo pre-order stuff that were pre-order bonuses, limited time, stuff like that, that came from Good Smile before. I know I have, I'm positive. Never has it ever come in a baggie like this. This may be the way that they do it now, where they just give you an extra bag, which actually specifically says it is for 645, which is Snake. Figma, Metal Gear Solid 2 version, it's all in Japanese, can't read the rest. But inside of this was a tightly bubble-wrapped envelope, and inside of that was a sealed plastic envelope, and inside of there was one particular accessory, which is my favorite one that he comes with, and it will be in the baggie I have over here. Just to show you, this is going to be separating one of the pieces, so if you get him secondhand and he does not come with this, just fair warning, you're going to be missing a gun. And it is probably the best gun that Snake should have. The most important gun, I'm going to say. Probably not his best gun, but the one that everyone is going to recognize him for having in Metal Gear Solid 1. Let's open this up on the English side, because Good Smile is nice enough to actually give us an English side of these. We can actually take a look at the instructions and all of the parts that Snake is going to come with, and assembly instructions for how to, say, put certain accessories on him, change his face plates and all like that. All right. Always good to have that. Let's take a look at the accessories. Dump everything right here, and we'll go one at a time. Aside from the Figma bag itself that you will always get for each Figma, always appreciated. All right, now I want you to take a very close look. There are 2 different handguns I have here. One of these comes in the box itself, and one of them was the pre-order bonus gun. This one over here is the one that comes in the box. So this is the one you're always going to get. This just looks like the pistol with the suppressor that you get from Metal Gear Solid 2. This, however, is the traditional SOCOM pistol with its suppressor from Metal Gear Solid 1. This is the one that I wanted for sure, because this, to me, is like Snake's iconic weapon with the, just the big extra chunk on the bottom. I just love the look of this gun. It's the one that I always think of for Snake using. So this, to me, was a really important part. I was shocked it wasn't in here, but it was because this is Metal Gear Solid 2 Snake. So they want to make sure that he does have the appropriate weapon for that, so which is technically this one, but yep, forget that gun. This is where it's at. Speaking of the guns, here is his AK, which I guess was a FAMAS in MGS2. I'm trying to remember the names. It has been a long time since I have played the games on my channel, but you can go and check those out if you want. Shameless plug. I have played basically every single Metal Gear Solid game that you can name. This does look like it is bending upward a little bit, so those bullets are going to jam, Snake. I wouldn't trust that so much. There is a firing accessory that can attach to the end of the gun itself. It was in the instructions on how to exactly do this, but it looks like just barely putting it on there, it is working. So a kapow. Yep, there we go. Before we forget, there is a tiny additional joint they love giving us for the wrists if anything were to break. I always appreciate these because I've never needed them. Figmas are very well made. We're gonna get kind of close here so we can see the differences in the face plates. The default face that we have right here that is already on Snake is already looking really good. And here is his, I guess, gritting teeth, angry firing face. You gotta remember that the bandana is attached to the hair when we take that off, so that's why that is not visible. And then we have hands, lots and lots of hands. And remember, one of those sets of hands is hanging onto a piece of clear plexiglass so that you can actually have Snake shimmying across your shelves or something like that. This is a hilarious little piece that I appreciate. I don't know if I'm gonna use it personally, but it is really cute. I like this one. And here we have lots of hands. Lots of hands. For the record, the hands he has on right now by default are fists. This is just how he looks out of the box with all the plastic taken away and thrown in the garbage. We have a gun firing hand here and another different gun firing hand here. Probably has a different hand position based on which gun he is holding. Another hand here for a grip. And same for the opposite side. This could be for gripping different accessories that don't even apply to Snakes, because I don't even think he has that many things that he can grab. And then we have a couple open hands. I appreciate that instead of just the regular fingers as far as you can reach open hand that a lot of Figmas tend to get. These are more of, I don't know, it looks like he's about to grab something, like he's trying to attack or get somebody from behind or something like that. So I do appreciate the different pose that we got for the hands here. These look really nice. Now finally onto Snake himself. Let's take a good look here at everything that moves, everything that doesn't, and what he looks like out of the box. You can already see there's a lot of moving parts that are just loose on him. He's wearing a lot of gear, or I guess rather he is finding a lot of gear because he's going into these missions completely solo with nothing except a very tight butt crack. So let's take a look what moves on his head. You're probably curious about that bandana, and I was as well. The bandana, to make sure that it stays in position, is just a part of the head. It is not going to move at all. It was too small in here to actually put a joint, so I'm not surprised that that does not move. Though from his MGS2 mullet, that is still a thing. He still has the long hair. And yeah, to pop off the head, it would just come up vertically, and I assume the bandana and everything is going to come off with it. That's how all the other Figmas do it. Onto his neck, which actually has a decent amount of movement here. You can see right here, there's an extra segment for him to move. He can turn his head all the way around, side to side, and then he can dip down and up, which is appreciated for like looking around corners and things like that. Cool. The arms have quite a lot of movement. You can see right here inside of that joint that is now exposed of his shoulder. It is double jointed, so it can move like all the way up here, which is unnecessary, or just move in any which way direction, which is great. If they can go farther than what is humanly natural, then you're able to do all sorts of extra poses with them and keep everything that is natural possible. His bicep also moves exactly the way you would expect and slightly farther than what is natural, which is excellent, is what I was just saying. And he can't touch his own shoulder, though. For whatever reason, if you wanted to do that, you can't. And of course, as we'd expect, all the way down here by the wrist, it is attached by that tiny little joint, so it does have movement. I do appreciate the paint that we have on the side here. Let's get closer. The paint is really nice. We have silver paint for several instances of looks like little metal bolts or something that are in his outfits, his sneaking suit. And whatever exactly that stuff is, it is all metallic looking. It looks really good. Now there's a lot going on here in the waist section. He can move quite a lot. In fact, he didn't even pop off with me doing this. So his waist is attached, and actually he might have popped off there. He could go this far back, which is a lot for the torso that you can see here. So he could, I don't know, do a Super Smash Brothers setup, and he's getting knocked in the background by a Yoshi or something like that. I don't know. You can mix everything up. Who cares anymore? And you have a lot of twisting movement here on the torso as well, so you can twist, go back up. It should pop off relatively easily. There we go. So we can actually see what is inside there and how that works. It is double jointed as well. And I can see it's very easy for this to just slide and pop back into place. There we go. Easy peasy. We got a similar joint down here in the waist section, which is why he was able to move so far. His neck can move, and then you've got the double joint here in the upper part of the ribs, and then down here in the waist, he has another set of joints. And then, of course, we're going to get to those legs. But before we get there, we have a lot of stuff that he has just hanging off of his suit. And these can move. These must be on little tiny joints. That is interesting. I wonder if there's a certain direction where they're supposed to go. Like, are they supposed to hang down like that, or were they supposed to go out? Oh, actually, looking at his key art, they go down. So if you take it for its word for as he actually came out of the box, they were supposed to be going out to the side. He came like that. I'm not sure what they're supposed to hold. Maybe like chaff grenades or something like that. Whatever he needs to be hanging onto at the moment, but anyway, that's interesting that they were not like that, but they are posable, so you can move them around if they're supposed to be hanging in the direction of gravity or something like that. I'm not sure. Down here in the waist, you got the huge movement you can expect out of the legs, and even more ridiculous than what could feasibly be possible, so that is excellent. The sculpt is very detailed too. It looks like he's in a really tight but also like overly buff armored sneaking suit. I really like the look of it. If we go around to the back here, we can see that you cannot holster the gun. I find that really weird. So you can't actually put the gun in his holster. So I have a Zero Suit Samus Figma, and she absolutely can do that. And with how many guns Snake has, I find this really weird. There's not even an extra accessory that we saw where it had, say, like a holster with a gun attached on the inside of it that was already there. No, so that's a strange thing here. This absolutely is where his gun should go, but it looks like it is not going to be a thing on the Figma. We already saw how thick his dumpy is. We don't need to spend any more time looking at that. We've got some nice, more silver paint on the knees, and they, of course, have plenty of movement, as we would expect from the arms. Like the angular, roughed up clothing that is stuffed into his boots down here. It's really nice. And then, of course, the feet themselves, the toes are kind of tipping up as if he was on his tiptoes or something like that, but there we go. You can flatten them because the ankle has a lot of movement, as well as the toe, which can go silly high up. So anyway, you can have all sorts of running and dashing movements, and he will always be able to find a flat foot on the ground somehow, no matter how you want to pose him. And that's Solid Snake. I've been waiting on this guy to come in for a long time. In fact, the base says he is from 2025 from Konami, And that is no longer the case because he just came in last night for me. So I am really excited to get this guy posed with some of my other Figmas. Maybe I should do a Super Smash Brothers theme thing because I've got so many different characters that are from that series as well. But I'm probably more excited to just get into some Metal Gear stuff. I've got all sorts of Metal Gear models and things that I have also reviewed on the channel. You can take a look at those. I've done Metal Gear Rex, Ray, Sahelanthropus. I've done a Big Boss review as well for his Nendoroid, and there is all sorts of Let's Plays that I have done on Metal Gear on the channel. In fact, there was a fun little video that David Hayter made for me that Twisted Iris requested him to do. So it was a wonderful video. You can also check that out. There's all sorts of Metal Gear stuff here on the channel, but I am really thrilled to finally have this Figma of one of my favorite characters, Solid Snake. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more. I will see you all in the next figure review video. Booyah!